Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is your Vedic astrology coach Rajat Kapoor and welcome to my channel The Legit Astrologer. In my channel I make videos on Vedic astrology, I talk about transits. In the recent times I have made a video on the recent total lunar eclipse and also the upcoming solar eclipse. You can watch these videos on my channel. Today I am here to talk about Mars or Mangal's upcoming transit in the sign of Libra. On 13th of September, Mars is changing signs. It is moving out of the earthy sign of Virgo and now entering the airy sign of Libra. Now, Libra is more or less a neutral sign for Mars because it is ruled by Venus. Mars and Venus share a neutral relationship. However, from a Tattva point of view or the element, Mars is Agni Tattva, fiery, and Libra is an airy sign. So the air element shares a friendly association with the fire element. Therefore, Mars feels little more at ease or slightly comfortable compared to the sign of Virgo. Virgo is also the natural sixth sign, the house of conflicts, where of course Mars has a different kind of energy. Now when fire and air comes together, it increases the fire. So therefore Mars feels at ease in the sign of Libra. And this is a transition towards its own sign of Scorpio that Mars will be making over the course of next few weeks towards the end of October. In this video, I'm going to talk about how Mars's transit in Libra is going to have an impact on all 12 ascendant signs or the moon signs between 13th of September till 27th of October. Before I share with you the detailed analysis, during this transit, what is happening is Mars will be under the influence of Jupiter as well as Rahu. It will be aspected by Jupiter by its fifth aspect, which will be quite active till 18th of October. Because on 18th of October, Jupiter will change signs and it will enter Cancer. Mars will also be under the ninth aspect of Rahu, which is the north node of the moon. Jupiter and Mars share a friendly relationship. When Jupiter forms a connection or a sambandha with Mars by aspect, conjunction, or in any yoga, there are blessings of Ma Parvati, Shakti, Devi, so there are blessings of the Divine Mother. However, Rahu and Mars don't share a good equation or a relationship. Rahu always is looking forward towards taking a revenge on Mars. There is a revengeful relationship that Rahu has on Mars. Because the demon Swarbhanu, if you look at history, and Lord Kartikeya, who is associated with Mars, and demon Swarbhanu is associated to Rahu because it is the head of Swarbhanu. He was the commander of the demon army or the Daitya Sena, and Lord Kartikeya was the commander of the Deva Sena or the army of the Devas. So it was Devas versus Asuras, and it was only by the intervention of Lord Vishnu. He used the Sudarshan Chakra, the head became Rahu, the body became Ketu. Therefore, Rahu always has a revenge towards Mars. Now till 18th of October, things are still a bit fine, but the last week of this transit between 18th of October till 27th of October, things could be slightly sensitive. During this transit, Mars is going to aspect the sign of Capricorn by its fourth special aspect, the sign of Aries, which is its own sign, by the seventh aspect, and the sign of Taurus by its eighth special aspect. The fourth and the eighth aspect of Mars signify Raksha or protection. The fourth aspect is about what is going to be protected during that time, and the eighth aspect is about how long the protection is going to last. So we have to pay very careful attention here. On one hand, Mars has a good aspect because it is aspecting its exaltation sign Capricorn and its own sign of Aries, and at the same time it is also aspecting the sign of Taurus. So at the natural level, work is something which needs to be protected, our action need to be protected, and how long we are going to be protected depends on the natural second house matter, which is your speech, your vani, your consumption, family, and also finances. So let us take forward the good blessings of Jupiter, which is having a nice fifth aspect of knowledge on Mars, which could potentially help us channelize our energies accordingly and make the right kind of decisions. Remember, Jupiter is about to regulate its pace. We are entering a brief phase of optimism. The energy levels are going to be quite on a higher side. Mid of September, there are massive changes that are happening, and towards the end of the day, we must continue to do our spiritual sadhana, our devotion. At the physical level, you will read this transit from your ascendant sign. However, at the mental emotional level, you can also read this from your moon sign. From a results point of view, relating it to your ongoing dasha, antardasha, pratanta dasha, you will see it from your ascendant sign. And if you have prominent planets in the sign of Libra, Capricorn, Aries, Taurus, or if you're running through dasha, antardasha of Mars, Saturn, Venus, Jupiter, Rahu, you are likely to be impacted by this transit. So once again, it is an interesting triangle relationship that Jupiter, Mars and Rahu have over the course of next few weeks in the Aries signs. For Aries ascendant signs or the Aries moon signs, at the physical level you will see this from your ascendant. At the mental emotional level, you can also see this from your moon sign. Mars or Mangal, who is your Lagna Lord, Lord of the Ascendant, he rules the first house of your body, your vitality, your immunity, who you are, your decision making. Your brain sits in the first house, therefore Mangal becomes an extremely important graha for you. Mars also is the 8th lord of transformation, suddenness in life, sudden ups and downs, places that are far off across the seas, your adversities in life and also your weaknesses, your ability to transform yourself, and that too in a sudden manner. Mars is now going to be entering your 7th house. 7th house is also called Jaya Bhav because we see peace and war from this house. It is also called Daya Bhav, which means your sense of compassion, your ability to help others and give others. Basic principle is if a natural malefic planet is there in the 7th house, it makes you philanthropic, it makes you more of giving in nature. But if it's a natural benefic in the 7th house, then when one can become selfish or a little bit greedy. Now, over the course of next few weeks, since it's your ascendant lord and also a natural malefic graha, it will increase your capacity to help others, to donate, to make these donations for the best of your benefit. Mars attains Maran Karak, or it is a death-like position in the 7th house. Therefore, it is losing significance till the end of October. So you might struggle in terms of making the right decision, probably making the right choices, matters that could be pertaining towards your relationship, towards your business partnership, and all those people who are opposite to you. But one thing is quite certain, that you will have plenty of energy that is driving through, because Mars, your Lagna Lord, is making a transit in the Aries sign of Libra where the fire rises. So it is a trinal lord making a transit in the Kendra house, first lord in the 7th house. It is a yoga. However, you will have to be extra cautious when it comes to making decisions. Those people who are married or in a relationship, your partner can really go out of the way to help you, to support you. In relationship matters, there could be certain level of energy imbalance, so you have to watch your words, you have to watch what you say, you have to take care of yourself over the course of next few weeks. Make sure that you channelize your energies by exercising, by eating right, and by having a good lifestyle. Now, if you were to travel outside of your country or probably travel to other places, this time period could be supportive for you. If in case your dasha antardasha is supportive, because of the levels of energy that you have, you might get some support of those people who are opposite to you, particularly if they are your co-workers or if they are people at your work. Because Mars is aspecting your 10th house by the 4th special aspect. So your work, your job, your karya bhava, your profession, your karmas, they are under a good protection of Mars, and this is what you need to hold on to over the course of next few weeks. Your family is going to play a very important role. Your finances are going to play a very important role because Mars has an 8th special aspect on the 2nd house in terms of ensuring that your work is being protected. So if you want to take some financial decisions, you can very well do that over the course of next few weeks, because it will ensure that you're able to continue the momentum. And in case you're looking forward to new opportunities, this time period could be favorable for you. In case you want to establish a new business, this can also be favorable for you. But matters pertaining to new relationship, marriages and stuff, this might not be the most ideal time for you. You might need to wait. But this transit can really help you to prepare and cope up with any sudden situation or any form of suddenness in life. Mars is also aspecting your ascendant by the 7th aspect, but that is merely 50%. So yes, you will have high amount of energy, and this Mars is under the 5th auspicious aspect of your 9th lord Jupiter. So make sure that you leverage the power of knowledge here, that Jupiter is bestowing on Mars, which will be very supportive, which will in some way help you to make the right kind of decision. But you must also pay attention that Rahu also has a ninth aspect on Mars. So this could deviate you from the path of righteousness. This could probably encourage you to take some shortcuts in terms of becoming successful in terms of your work. So you have to be a little bit careful and follow the path of Jupiter. Continue to strengthen Mars by rising up early, by exercising each and every day, by working in your kitchen, and continue to strengthen Jupiter, because you will also see the exalted transit, a short transit of Jupiter over the course of next few weeks, and he is your ninth lord. So if you use a Guru mantra, that is Om Guruve Namah 12 times, you will have the power to channelize your decisions in the right manner, and my best wishes for you. Taurus ascendant signs. At the physical level, you will read this from your ascendant sign. At the mental emotional level, you can also read this from your moon sign. Mars is making a transit, moving out of the sign of Virgo and now entering Libra on 13th of September, and it is going to stay there till end of October. Mars for you is your 7th lord and the 12th lord. So it plays a very important role in all relationship matters. It rules the Jaya Bhava, where we see peace and war. It represents your spouse, all those people who are opposite to you, your attitude towards the outer world of people, things, events, business partnerships, contracts, agreements. All of this is seen from the 7th house. 12th house represents your higher self-consciousness, your losses, expenditure, your ability to give, donate and help others. Also, it plays a very important role in your self-awareness. Now, this Mars is making a transit in the 6th house. See, Mars is a bachelor graha, and the natural 6th house is a comfortable position for Mars, being a bachelor graha. Mars also represents conflict, and 6th house is also the house of conflict. So, Mars has the capability or the capacity to deal with these conflicts in a very commanding manner. So, of course, momentarily you have to be careful of other people, because you could come across with some fiery opposition, because the fire is rising in your 6th house. From a health and well-being point of view, you have to take care of your digestive system, because there's too much Agni, there's too much of fire element. So make sure that you keep yourself hydrated. So a simple remedy through September and October for you could be to ensure that you have enough water. You keep yourself hydrated and you'll be able to channelize the levels of energy. Now, your 12th lord in the 6th house is a Viparita Yoga in transit, which means circumstances, situation could go adverse. Eventually, you will rise. Eventually, you will be able to overcome your enemies. What you have to do here is strengthen your Lagna Lord Venus, who is also the dispositor of the sign of Libra, if you were to overcome opposition, if you were to overcome enemies. The message is very clear that there is plenty of energy that Mars is bringing in your daily life. This is a good opportunity for you to fix your lifestyle. This is a good opportunity for you to bring in some positive change. If you've been trying to get some results by your workout, by your exercise, in terms of weight management, in terms of health management, now you will see the outcome, because circumstances are favorable for you to channelize these energies. Now, Mars also rules your 7th house, and making a transit in the 6th house is detrimental towards your relationship. So, you have to be a bit careful here. There could be quarrels, there could be unnecessary argument, or there could be a bit of a distance as well that might get created when it comes to your relationship. There could be some financial arguments, or probably arguments that are related to financial matters. So, this is where you have to be careful. Mars is aspecting your 9th house by the 4th special aspect. So, your dharma, fortune, bhagya is being protected. Your higher education is being protected. So, if you were to put your energies in further education pursuits, there is good protection there, and Mars is also ensuring that it protects your fortune. Little bit of luck also matters. The 8th special aspect is on your ascendant. So, you will decide, you will take charge of your bhagya, of your fortune. And of course, the next couple of months is an excellent time for you to invest your energies and attention in any education related pursuit, either spiritual education or higher formal education. Those people who are probably planning to study abroad or travel overseas for education pursuits, those students who are probably sitting in competitive examination, you could see some success here over the course of next few weeks. Mars is also aspecting your 12th house, so of course the spiritual energies are also very high that you have to channelize. Make sure that you use a simple Lakshmi mantra in your daily prayers, daily practice, that is Om Lakshmi Nama, or you worship Lord Vishnu, use a Shadakshari mantra, that is Om Vishnave Nama, to channelize these energies, and my best wishes to you. Gemini ascendant signs. At the physical level, you will read this from your ascendant sign. At the mental emotional level, you can also read this from your moon sign. Mars or Mangal is changing signs mid of September. On 13th, it is going to be entering Libra, which is your 5th house of the chart. 5th house is a very important house because it is the Rajya Bhava, it represents kingdom. There is a lot of power and authority in this house because naturally Surya becomes the ruler of the 5th house and Sun is the king. So this house holds great importance for any ascendant, and the Lord also becomes very important. It is lorded by Venus. Now Mars, who's been making a transit in the 4th house, now will make a transit in the 5th house, and it is giving you a Dhan Yoga in transit because Mars is the 11th lord for you besides being the 6th lord. So 2, 5, 9 and 11 houses play a very important role in financial matters. So if the 11th lord is making a transit in the 5th house, it is a financial yoga. And if you have a favorably disposed Venus, and if you're going through some nice dasha and dashas, you could expect some financial gains by your own effort, by your own energy, and through job related matters particularly, you can expect some financial gains. All right. Mars for you is the 6th lord and the 11th lord. 6th house represents your daily routine, things that you do on a day-to-day basis, your health, well-being, your vitality. And of course, it also represents enemies, opposition or competition. Mars doesn't share a good equation with your Lagna Lord Mercury. It holds an enmity. So it becomes a malefic planet for Gemini ascendants. It is also the 11th lord of your income, Aya Bhava, material gains, material comfort, your friends, your social life. And 11th house we also see bigger enemies from because it is the 6th from the 6th house. We see fulfillment of life from this house. We also see illusions from this house. So because each and every house has some positive and of course some blind spots as well. Now this Mars is well placed, it is alone, it is going to be aspected by Jupiter. Jupiter is your 7th and the 10th lord, making a wonderful transit in your ascendant and now picking up the momentum. It will regulate its pace. So your trinal houses have Jupiter, Mars and Rahu. Mars will be under the aspect of both Jupiter as well as Rahu. Jupiter's aspect is very good, which is about knowledge, which will give you knowledge of increasing your finance, which will give you knowledge to channelize your energy to the best possible future course of action. Any mantra based remedies could bring some, it could be a bit of obstruction for you during this time because you will face challenge in terms of building consistency. But I would advise you to stick to your daily mantra practice if you are doing some, because this is how you will be able to channelize your energies. Because Rahu's aspect on your 5th house and on Mars is causing that obstruction, where you have to be careful of future planning, future decision, and avoiding any corrupt practices or any shortcuts to success. Be on the path of Jupiter, be on the right path, because Jupiter gains directional strength in your 1st house. Now Mars will be aspecting your 8th house by the 4th special aspect. So this time period somehow is protecting you from any adverse situations, any adverse circumstances. And also your research based knowledge, if you learn Jyotish, astrology, you are under good protection. Your health and vitality and immunity is likely to improve over the course of next few weeks. You will be very conscious of your lifestyle. From a remedial point of view, since Mars is making a transit in the 5th house, which represents your stomach, ensure that you keep yourself hydrated because Mars is a Agni Tattva planet. It is fire. So it will help you channelize these energies. Mars is also aspecting your 12th house by the 8th special aspect. So any of your spiritual practices will be very helpful for you to ensure that you transform really well. So your moksha quotient, your moksha trine is pretty much active by the virtue of these energy levels. So daily meditation, daily spiritual practice is extremely important for you. And if you start something, you have the capacity to become consistent because Mars's transit promotes positive energy for future. It could be a phase of optimism, but you have to be careful because there are no shortcuts to success. Mars is also aspecting your 11th house by the 7th special aspect, which is again favorable for financial situation, financial circumstances, as long as you stick to the path of righteousness, as long as you have your fundamental value system very clear. From a remedial point of view, you continue to strengthen Venus. Use a simple Lakshmi mantra, that is Om Lakshmaya Namah, and this is how you will be able to channelize these energies of Mars. And the energies that you put for future planning, decision making, you can do that. If you have children, there is certainly a karma, or probably there could be some differences which could get created with regards to matters pertaining to children. In case you're planning to have one or extend your family, this might not be the most ideal time because there is some obstruction. However, I wish you the best for all the other aspects. Cancer ascendant signs or the Cancer moon sign. At the physical level, you will read this from your ascendant sign. At the mental emotional level, you can also read this from your moon sign. So Mars is moving out of the sign of Virgo, and now it is going to enter the sign of Libra. Mars is a fiery planet, Libra is an air sign. When fire and air come together, it increases the fire. So the fire rises when Mars is making a transit in the sign of Libra. It is alone. However, it is under the 5th aspect of Jupiter, which is a very auspicious aspect, and the 9th aspect of Rahu, which is an inauspicious aspect. So you must look up to Jupiter, who is your 9th lord, during this transit, because Jupiter is making a transit in your 12th house, and very soon it will also enter your ascendant for a brief period. Now Mars is making a transit in your 4th house of your comfort space, your happy space, your safe space, a sense of safety, security, your assets, real estate, vehicles. Mars is also one of the significator of the 4th house because he represents land or bhumi, and we see these assets from the 4th house as well. And Mars is a Karak Graha for you because it rules one trinal house and one Kendra house. It is the ruler of the 5th house and the 10th house. Both houses have something in common, that they are Rajya Bhavas or houses of kingdom, king-like success. 5th house represents your future, your positional success. Mantras are seen from the 5th house. Children are seen from the 5th house. And of course, your future potential is seen from this house. From a body part point of view, it represents your stomach. 10th house is your Karya Bhava, your actions in the society, what you do to survive and sustain yourself in this world. Your job, your duty, your business, your profession is seen from the 10th house, and Mars plays a very important role here. So it is in a strong disposition. However, Mars is also said to be losing direction in the 4th house, because in 10th house it gains directional strength. In the 4th house it has 0 direction. So you have to put in more efforts in order to channelize your work related situation. The message is very clear that you have to strike a balance between your personal life and your work life. Stick to the path of Jupiter. Continue to remedy Jupiter because it will give you the right resources and tools, and of course the wisdom and knowledge to make some good decisions pertaining to your home, your assets. But then you can deviate from the path of righteousness as well. This time period could probably put you out of your comfort zone. You could get new assignments, new projects, certain things that you've never done in the past. This could also be a shift of residence, or you might do some construction work or repair work at your home, within your house. If you have a vehicle, so be careful and make sure that you get some inspection done, because there could be some issues that you might face over the course of next few weeks with regards to your assets. All right. Mars is aspecting your 7th house by the 4th special aspect, which means that your relationship, your marriage and your spouse is under good protection. Your business is also under good protection. And this sign, Capricorn, is the exalted sign of Mars, though the aspect is not an exalted aspect. There's a lot of misinformation with regards to this particular phenomena. It is the aspect of protection, which is the 4th aspect. The 8th aspect is on the 11th house, which means that your income, your source of gains, your friends might play a very important role in ensuring that your relationship is being protected, that your relationship would flourish and foster. So of course, your energy levels will be quite on a higher side when it comes to dealing with the opposite sex and the relationship. This could also become a cause of conflict, and this is where you have to be a little bit careful, as long as you're able to manage these levels of energy. If there's a match, it is very good. Mars is also aspecting your 10th house. So the 4-10 axis being active, try to strike a balance between your personal and your work life. Your levels of energy when you're home will be extremely high. So you must engage yourself in some spiritual practice, yoga, sadhana, meditation. This will also help you remove the negative aspect of Rahu, because its ninth aspect is about all the wrongdoings, all the ill practices based on ill knowledge. So you have to be careful in making the right decisions. You might end up, maybe making some mistake in paperwork, any real estate matters, property related matters. So this is where you have to be a little bit cautious. Not the most ideal time for making big financial decisions or other kind of decisions in your life. Stay in your comfort zone. As much as the situation will push you out of the comfort zone, be prepared for new assignments, new challenges in life. Take care of your health and your immunity, because Mars is losing direction. So you could have some hospital visit, you could have some sense of immunity issues over the course of next few weeks. So continue to remedy, strengthen Mars and worship Lord Shiva to strengthen your Jupiter, and may you have a pleasant transit ahead. Leo ascendant signs or the Leo moon signs. At the physical level, you will read this from your ascendant sign. At the mental emotional level, you can also read this from your moon sign. So what is happening is Mars is changing signs. It has been making a transit in your second house, forming a nice yoga, a nice sun yoga. Now Mars or Mangal will be moving in your third house. Now Mars will be alone in the airy sign of Libra. When fire and air come together, the fire rises. At the physical level, you will read this from your ascendant sign, preferably. Now Mars is a yoga karaka, or the most favorable planet for you, because it becomes your fourth lord and the ninth lord. It is the ruler of one quadrant house and one trinal house. Fourth lord of your happy space, your comfort space, your home, your sense of protection, your mother. The sense of compassion is seen from this house. And this is a very nice, comfortable house, and that is why we call it as the Sukh Bhav. And Sukh or happiness, contentment is something which everyone wants in life. But we get it, very rarely. It happens that we are comfortable all through the time. And particularly in the current times, we are living with very high pessimism. Now, this Mars will be aspected by Jupiter, who's your fifth lord, a very important planet again, which is forming a very nice yoga during the transit. There are blessings of the Divine Mother. However, Mars will also be aspected by Rahu, who's making a transit in your seventh house, where it gains directional strength. Rahu also has a strong ninth aspect on Mars. But on contrary to that, Mars is in a good dignity here, because he is the significator of the third house or the Naisargic Karak. Mars represents valor, courage, and third house is all about courage, valor. Mars also represents co-borns or the younger siblings. He is the natural Bhratri Karaka, the Karaka of siblings. In the third house, it feels at ease, it feels very comfortable, it is like a go-getter person. So you are likely to demonstrate a similar kind of attitude, which is a go-getter attitude in anything that you're doing over the course of next few weeks till end of October. This transit is mostly favorable for you. So any efforts that you put with regards to your home related matters, with regards to travel, with regards to your bhagya, your fortune, your higher education, you are likely to see some positive results. So you have to continue to strengthen your Jupiter, because Jupiter is having a very auspicious aspect on Mars, which will ensure that you leverage this knowledge and cope up with this change. The pace of life is going to be a bit fast over the course of next few weeks, but Rahu's ninth aspect is trying to deviate Mars from its path and purpose, which could create some unnecessary paperwork issue, some documents. So whenever you're signing some documents, doing some paperwork, be very careful. Whenever you're traveling, be careful, take care of your belongings, take care of your things. Travel could definitely be on the card, long journeys. If not, go on a spiritual retreat, go on a spiritual travel. This is something which I will highly advise you to do. Mars is aspecting your sixth house by the fourth special aspect, which means that things that you do on a day-to-day basis are being protected. Your health and well-being is being protected. Your protection is coming from any kind of disease, and this protection is coming from your 10th house, because Mars has a 8th special aspect on your 10th house. So your work will ensure that your health is in the best or the prime, or probably you're having a good lifestyle. So your work routine will really ensure. So it's connected. Both 6th and 10th house, we also see job from this house. And 3rd house represents change. So there could be a change of job. New opportunities could come your way. Mars is also aspecting your 9th house. There could be unnecessary paperwork, documentation. You will have to deal with change. You could be forced into this changing situation as well. But somehow you will be able to cope up with it. Journal. Put your energy in using your hands in doing anything. Either you journal, you exercise, you lift weights in the gym, you work in your kitchen, you clean your house. Keep yourself engaged. Keep yourself active all through the time. This is a very clear message that I'd like to give you with regards to this transit, which for you is mostly likely to deliver positive results, and my best wishes. Virgo ascendant signs or the Virgo moon signs. At the physical level, you will read this transit from your ascendant sign. At the mental emotional level, you can also read this from your moon sign. Mars or Mangal that has been making a transit in your ascendant or Lagna, where there would have been a lot of firepower, is now going to enter your 2nd house in the Aries sign of Libra. So when fire and air come together, the fire rises. Mars or Mangal for you is not the most ideal planet because it rules 2 of the not so good houses based on the lordship, the 3rd house and the 8th house. Both house represents change. 3rd house is more of a planned change, structured change, change that involves communication. 8th house is sudden change, suddenness in life, sudden transformation. 3rd house, we see your courage, valor, your siblings, particularly the younger co-borns, your efforts that you put. Communication is seen from the 3rd house, particularly written communication, documentation is seen from this house. Journeys are seen from the 3rd house. 8th house represents longevity, transformation, your adversities in life, your weaknesses, because we see Nija dosha from the 8th house. Places which are far off, distant lands, distant places, people from other cultures. And Mars will make a connection with the 8th house as well because it has a 7th aspect on the 8th house while making this transit. So there's a lot of fire in your 2nd house of Dhan Bhav, wealth, your family, speech, your consumption, what you eat. It is your storage space. So definitely one quick tip for you is to go through some significant changes in your diet. And whatever you eat, whatever you consume, you have to ensure that the next 1.5 months you have to keep yourself hydrated all through the time. It's too much fire in your consumption house. It is not the most ideal time to make sound financial decisions or matters pertaining to your finances, pertaining to your money, because your 8th lord is in the 2nd house, which could bring some adversities. However, you have to channelize these energies accordingly. You have to continue to strengthen Venus, who is the dispositor of Mars, who is your 2nd lord. Though your efforts could increase your finances, your efforts could help you create a secondary source of income, the energy level will be very high. Now this Mars is aspecting your 5th house by the 4th special aspect, which means that your future is being protected. It is a good transit for your children and for your family. Though personally for you, you have to be careful while speaking to others, because your speech can have aggressive tendencies. Fire can, the fiery element could bring a fiery speech. So think before you speak and do not be very impulsive. Avoid any kind of reaction, particularly on social media while conversing with your family members and your friends. Mars is also having a 8th special aspect on your 9th house. So your fortune, your father, your guru, or your spiritual education will play an important role in protection of your future. Transformation is inevitable over the course of next few weeks, and may you have a very positive transformation by the virtue of these energies. But this time period might not be very ideal to make important decisions. See, when Mars is in the 2nd house, there is Ketu making a transit in the 12th house. So your Lagna technically is in a Papa Kartari Yoga. So your decision making is likely to be a bit weak over the course of next few weeks, and this is where you can be careful. Thankfully, Mars is under the auspicious 5th aspect of Jupiter, which will help you drive this knowledge, which will help you protect your relationship. Somehow your partner, spouse can play a very important role. Your mother can play a very important role, your assets, and your work is likely to grow and prosper. You still have chances to increase and have a secondary source of income if you stick to the path of Jupiter. At the same time, Mars is also being aspected by Rahu. So your 2, 6, 10 axes have these three grahas, the Artha trine. So focus on your duty, focus on your karma, and keep doing your job. But at the work front, Rahu might encourage you to take some shortcuts to increase your income, to mismanage your finance. So again, you have to do a budget exercise, you have to invest your energy and protect your finances. Try to save money over the course of next few weeks. Try to live a low-key life and be very humble, respectful and mindful to people. Worship Goddess Lakshmi. Read Shri Suktam on a daily basis. This is how you can channelize these energies, and also read Hanuman Chalisa on a daily basis for your protection, and may you have a pleasant time ahead. Libra ascendant signs or the Libra moon signs. At the physical level, you will read this Mars transit from the ascendant sign only. At the mental emotional level, you can also see this from your moon sign. Because when Dasha Antadashas are concerned, transits should be read with Dashas and also with regards to your ascendant or the Lagna. Now, in your case, Mars or Mangal is entering your ascendant on 13th of September and it is going to stay there till end of October. So next 1.5 months, there is a lot of energy that is coming in your first house. Mars is the significator of energy. It is a fiery planet and you're an Aries sign. So when fire and air comes together, the fire rises. So when Mars comes in the ascendant, the message is very clear that you are going to have plenty of energy over the next few weeks, and it is utmost important for you to be able to channelize this energy in the most appropriate manner. Your first house, your Lagna represents yourself, who you are. It is your body, your vitality, your immunity, your knowledge, your intelligence, because your brain sits there in the first house. So of course it plays a very important role in all such matters, and planets making a transit through ascendant do play a vital role for any individual. Mangal in your case is your second lord and the seventh lord. So it plays a very important role in family and also in relationship matters. Second house represents your dhan bhav, your wealth, accumulation. Anything that you accumulate, anything that you store in your life, your speech, it is your consumption, what you consume, also what you eat. First house is yourself, second house is consumption of whatever is good for your body. So Mars plays a very important role. Seventh lord is the lord of your spouse, your relationship, marriage, partnership. Businesses are seen from the seventh house. So Mars certainly isn't a yoga, because technically it's a quadrant lord making a transit in trinal house, because first house is both quadrant as well as trine. It's a comfortable position for Mars because Mars naturally becomes the ruler of the first house because it rules Aries. So of course you need to channelize your energy. There is certainly a relationship karma that you have. Mars is also forming a dhan yoga, or it's a financially prosperous time period, because the one who rules finances, wealth, is sitting in your ascendant. So by your efforts, by your independent thinking, independent decision making, you should be able to increase your income. You're also likely to undergo some dietary changes. See, there's plenty of Agni in your ascendant over the course of next few weeks. So your health, vitality, immunity is going to significantly improve. But you have to keep yourself hydrated all through the time. Drink plenty of water, because there's too much fire element that is there in your body. So you need to channelize that. This Mars is being aspected by Jupiter sitting in your 9th house, making a transit in Gemini, by the 5th very auspicious aspect. So your Lagna is under good protection. And if you're married, it's a very good transit for your spouse or your partner. They can have some growth opportunities over the course of next few weeks. However, Mars is also under the aspect of Rahu, who is making a transit in your 5th house. So in any case, you should do some Jupiter related remedy. Either a mantra related to Lord Shiva will be extremely helpful for you, which is Om Namo Bhagavate Sadashivaya. Rahu is the co-fifth lord. It's a favorable planet for you. However, its aspect is not good, which can somehow obstruct the channelizing of energy. So this is where you have to be careful, because Rahu is wind. So there is plenty of fire that is there in your ascendant. Mars is aspecting your 4th house by the 4th special aspect, which means that your safety, your security, your home, your comfort is being protected. Your assets are being protected over the course of next few weeks. It is also aspecting your 8th house by the 8th special aspect. So any adverse situation, you will come out victorious in any such adverse circumstances or situation. Your trinal houses have 3 planets. Jupiter is benefic, Mars and Rahu are malefics here. So of course, financially it is a stable period for you, but I would not advise you to make some important financial decisions when it comes to matters related to your money. But yes, going through changes in your dietary requirement could be extremely helpful. Mars is also aspecting your 7th house, but that's a mere 50% aspect. There is some relationship karma. So try and keep your ego aside. Try and not get involved in any argument, any conflict, any heated debate. Your transformation will play a very important role in ensuring that you feel comfortable, that you feel safe and secure. Exercise each and every day. Eat right as well as exercise. Stay active. So if you keep yourself active, you're able to channelize these energies. Continue to strengthen Venus. Worship Goddess Lakshmi. Read Shri Suktam on a daily basis or a simple Lakshmi mantra that you can use, and I wish you the very best. Scorpio ascendant signs or the Scorpio moon signs. At the physical level, you will read this transit from your ascendant sign. At the mental emotional level, you can also read this from your moon sign. So Mars is changing signs on 13th of September. It is entering Libra, and it is going to stay in Libra till 27th of October. Mars is your lord of the ascendant, the Lagna lord. Therefore, its transit becomes utmost important for you regardless of your dasha, antardasha, the time period that you're going through. Mars's transit will play an important role. Now, one thing which is very interesting for Scorpio ascendants is that they're expected to go through significant shift or starting new job, new line of work, new projects, new environment. So there's renewed energies which I could expect already would have happened or probably would happen in the next few days with regards to work related context. Maybe some travel, some movement as well in case your dasha antardasha is supportive. Now Mars is your Lagna lord. He rules yourself, your body, your vitality, your immunity, who you are, your decision making, your intelligence. The brain sits in the 1st house. And also from a health and well-being point of view, from education and knowledge, everything matters where Lagna lord plays an important role. Lagna lord, whichever house it goes, that house has fire. Mars itself is a fiery planet. So there's a lot of fire in your 12th house over the next few weeks. Because Mars is in Libra. Libra is an air sign. When fire and air come together, the fire rises. Mars is also your 6th lord, the one who rules daily routine, debts, diseases, things that you do on a day-to-day basis. Your job is also seen here. So of course, this time period could be slightly stressful as well with work overload. So you will be loaded with plenty of things, plenty of stuff over the next few weeks. 12th house is the Vyaya Bhav, your expenditure, losses, your sleep, bed comforts, also your higher self-consciousness, your ability to be more self-aware. So when your Lagna lord and the 6th lord is gone to your 12th house, it is going to increase your expenditure. So you're going to expense on a number of things that are related to yourself and your daily life. You might expense on other people as well in terms of organizing social events. So this is where you have to be a little bit careful. If it probably would create a negative or a detriment and impact on your financial well-being, then this can be avoided. Mars is also forming a Viparita Yoga in transit, which means that the 6th lord in the 12th house is giving you Viparita Yoga. Circumstances, situation could go adverse, eventually you will rise. But for any spiritual practices, this time period is quite excellent because there is too much fire there. So I would advise you yoga, sadhana. Your sleep is going to be disturbed over the next few weeks. So this is one area where you have to take care of yourself because that could potentially lead to some health issues. You might have to visit a doctor, you might have to have a hospital visit. So make sure you go for a regular routine health checkup. A Dwadashakshari Vishnu mantra, which is Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, could be extremely beneficial for you. Mars, your Lagna lord, thankfully is being aspected by Jupiter, who's also making a transit in your 8th house, and Jupiter has a 5th special aspect on Mars, which will ensure that you increase your spiritual practice. But at the same time, Rahu is also making an aspect. Rahu is going through your 4th house. So your 4, 8, 12 axis has these 3 planets. So definitely it's a good time for spiritual goals, spiritual pursuits, but somehow Rahu can deviate you to maybe some bad decisions you can take over the course of next few weeks, so where you have to be a little bit careful. But for your self-awareness, it is good. Make some donations, help others, feed the needy, and of course, try to declutter the pessimistic thinking that has been going on in your mind for a better, brighter future. Increase your spiritual sadhana, your sense of devotion. This is a key message, and take care of your health and well-being. Mars is aspecting your third house, so any efforts that you put, your efforts are being protected during this time. And also the eighth special aspect is on the seventh house, where your partner or spouse can play an important role. They might suffer, they might have some losses, but towards the end of the day, they might protect you. So your spouse or partner can incur some financial debt, some financial losses or expenditure, depending on their time periods. So please continue your spiritual sadhana and increase your practices, and I wish you the very best. Sagittarius ascendant signs or the Sagittarius moon signs. At the physical level, you will see this from the ascendant sign only, and at the mental level, you might also read this from your moon sign. So what is happening is Mars, the fiery planet, the natural ruler of Aries and Scorpio, is now going to enter your 11th house. So Mars has been making a nice transit in your 10th house, though in an uncomfortable sign, but in a comfortable position. And now it is entering 11th house. Now it is in a slightly comfortable sign because it's an airy sign, which is friendly from an element point of view, because when fire and air, they come together, the fire rises. A lot of fire Agni is there in your 11th house, which gives you huge potential, because Mars, Mangal, is your fifth lord. Fifth lord for any ascendant is one of the most important planet because it rules your future. Why do people go to astrologers? Because they have to know about their future. They are focused or concerned about their futures, so they will go to an astrologer. So here Mars becomes the fifth lord who rules your future, your children. Unconditional love is seen from the fifth house. Romantic associations are seen from the fifth house. It represents your creativity, your creative pursuits. It is the Rajya Bhava, because we see power, positional success is seen from this house. Mars also becomes your 12th lord of expenditure, losses, your higher self-consciousness, your ability to give, donate, your bed comforts, your sleep, and your sense of well-being, which helps you to become more self-aware. Mars, being a natural malefic and a functional benefic in your case, will always do well in the 11th house. So it's a very good transit for you. It's a forward-looking transit. This time period, you can have some financial gains because Mars is creating a Dhan Yoga. And it is having very good aspects as well, which I will explain it to you. See, it's a Karak Graha. In the 11th house, it is alone. And it is under the benefic aspect of your Lagna Lord Jupiter. So Jupiter will gain momentum. It will regulate its pace. It will slow down a bit. And it is having a nice fifth aspect on Mars, which is the aspect of Gyan, knowledge. So it is giving you the power of knowledge to channelize and plan for your future. Have new sources of income. You can have a rise in your income. You can have incentive. You could be recognized in case your Dasha Antardasha is supportive. Now, the only thing is that your 10th house is going to be under a Papa Kartari Yoga. So there could be some obstructions related to work. There could be some authority issues, some issues with leaders, bosses. So you have to be a little bit careful and try and stay low key. Continue to strengthen Jupiter to maximize this aspect of Jupiter on Mars, which is going to protect you, which is going to protect your future, which is also going to protect your health and well-being. Mars is having a fourth special aspect on the second house, which is the aspect of protection. So your finances, your dhan, family, your food, your consumption, all of this is under good protection for the next few weeks till end of October. Mars is also aspecting your fifth house. So two of these aspects, the sign, one is Capricorn, the other is Aries. Both are good signs for Mars because it's a sign of exaltation and also own sign of Mars. But the eighth aspect is on the sixth house. So protection of your finances, your sense of comfort, your possessions is very much dependent on your daily routine. So if you were to repay any debts, this time period you should be able to repay your debts. If you're picking up some loans for real estate, property, mortgage or anything, you can very well do that because circumstances, situations are favorable for you. and you should be able to make good decisions. So it is protecting, the protection is coming from your health and well-being, right? Your debts, loans, enemies will become friends. So you need not worry about opposition because you have the capacity to overcome opposition of any kind. You will have obstruction with some influential people, so they could cause some obstruction, they could cause some issue, but you will come out victorious as a winner. Now, just on a negative side, Rahu is also having a 9th aspect on Mars. So this is where you have to be careful because it could bring unnecessary change. It could bring unnecessary issues or conflict with some friends, or you might be involved in a conflict situation trying to make a resolution or trying to resolve the situation. So this is where you have to be careful as well and continue to strengthen Jupiter. Use the Shiva mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Sada Shivaya to channelize these energies, and may you have a pleasant time ahead. Capricorn ascendant signs or the Capricorn moon signs. So what is happening? Mars is now making a transit in Libra on 13th of September and it is going to stay there till 27th of October. Mars has been making a transit in your 9th house. In 9th house, Mars is not very auspicious. It calls for certain remedies because of its natural malefic nature. But now Mars is entering your 10th house where it gains directional strength. It is Digbali. It is now in a slightly comfortable sign, the sign of Libra, because it is about to enter the sign of Scorpio in the next couple of months, which is its own sign. So Mars gaining directional strength, therefore there are blessings of Lord Narasimha, Bhagwan Hanuman as well, and at the same time Lord Vishnu, because it gains directional strength here. So it's a very positive time period for any work related matters because this is your karma bhav. We see your actions in the society, what you do to survive and sustain yourself in this world, your profession, your duty, your work, your business. All of these things are seen from the 10th house. It is also one of the Rajya Bhava, and Mars feels at ease in this house. Now, there's only one thing which is not very good, that your bhagya or fortune will not be very favorable over the course of next few weeks because your 9th house is under a Papa Kartari Yoga. Mars and Ketu are hemming the 9th house, so both of them are malefics. There are obstructions, but at the same time you have to focus more on free will, on independent thinking and independent decision making. Mars or Mangal is your 4th lord and the 11th lord, so it's more of a neutral planet for you because it rules one Kendra house as well. 4th lord of your happy space, your comfort space, your home, mother, your homeland. So definitely this time period calls for a balance between your work life and your home family life, because your energies would be very much invested in your work. At work, you will have overflow of energy, so you have to channelize this energy. Now on a negative side, it could create some conflict with other people at work. So be careful of other people, some of your peers or colleagues. So if you have interesting ideas, please keep these ideas to yourself and only announce when you see it is the right time, because most likely someone else will be ready to take the credit of your work. So you have to be careful of this situation. Mars is also your 11th lord, so it rules enemies. It rules your illusion. It is also the house of fulfillment. It is also the house of material gains. So definitely you can probably have some rise in your income. If you step into a new job, you can get a financial growth, you can get a financial increment. All of these things are quite plausible. Mars is also under the benefic aspect of Jupiter. Jupiter is having a 5th drishti on Mars, which is very benefic. It is giving you the right kind of knowledge at work. However, Rahu is also having a 9th aspect on Mars, which is slightly negative. That can maybe encourage you to take some shortcuts at work, and of course, you really disrupt with your workplace thinking and relationships. So this is where you have to be careful. Mars is aspecting your Lagna by the 4th special aspect, which means you are having a great protection over the next 1.5 months. Your health is going to improve, your vitality is going to improve, and you could be free from any diseases. And this protection is coming from your 5th house because Mars is having a special 8th aspect on your 5th house, which means that anything that you plan with regards to your future thinking and a futuristic approach, wherein you might take certain precautions, is going to ensure that your health and vitality would improve. Your knowledge will help you to build a better immunity and a greater sense of lifestyle. But you have to juggle between your work life and your home life, and momentarily this can cause a little bit of disruption. This can help you to step out of your comfort zone and take up some new projects, new assignments, some things that you've never done in the past. So things for that matter could be a little bit challenging as well, but it's a very prosperous time when it comes to new work opportunities, and I wish you the very best. Aquarius ascendant signs or the Aquarius moon signs. At the physical level, you will read this Mars transit from your ascendant sign. Only at the mental emotional level, you can also read this from your moon sign. So what is now happening? Finally, Mars is moving out of your 8th house of transformation, suddenness. Your 8th house has been very heavy, a lot of fire. Now it is going to enter the 9th house of fortune or bhagya. We see higher education from this house. Long distance journeys are seen from this house. Your father, guru, your lineage. This is also the house of dharma, your sense of righteousness, your decision making, and of course, with a lot of hard work, some element of luck also matters. So 9th house and its lord needs to be very supportive in the chart for us to have a good life. Now Mars in your case is the 3rd lord and also the 10th lord. So it holds an important lordship, though it shares an inimical relationship with your Lagna lord Saturn. But being the 10th lord, it rules your work, your profession, your karma, your actions in this world, your duty, your job, and whatever you do to survive and sustain yourself in this world, and how you learn and how you earn an income. Mars is also the 3rd lord of valor, courage. Your efforts are seen from the 3rd house. Communication is seen from the 3rd house. And this house also represents siblings, particularly the younger co-borns. Now this house also represents communication. So this Mars in the 9th house, being a natural malefic, is not considered very auspicious, and this is where you must continue to strengthen your Lagna lord Saturn, and also remedies related to Venus, who is the dispositor of Mars. Venus is your 9th lord. Though what is happening here is Mars being the 3rd lord and also the 10th lord making a transit in the 9th house. So 10th lord in the 9th house is definitely a nice yoga. It is a dharma karma yoga. It is also a Raja yoga in transit, which could indicate some sort of work growth, some sort of elevation at work, or it could make you travel for work purpose. And if you have any upcoming travel related to your work, related to your job, that can be fruitful in your case. Your 3-9 axis is anyway active because the 3rd lord making a transit in the 9th house. You can also go on some journey. You are likely to undertake travel before the end of October. And if this travel is for spiritual purposes, spiritual pursuit, going to any shrines, going to any spiritual places, it could be extremely beneficial for you. Now, Mars is aspecting your 12th house by the 4th special aspect, which is the aspect of protection. So it is protecting you from any unwanted expenditure. Your expenditure is likely to come down. And Mars is also aspecting your 4th house by the 8th special aspect, which means that this will begin from your home. So your home related expenditure might undergo a check, and you might do a budget exercise here. You would want to step into your comfort zone. See, when Mars is in the 9th house, you must engage yourself in any spiritual sadhana. Continue to remedy Venus. Use a simple Lakshmi mantra, that is Om Lakshmyai Namah, or read Shri Suktam on a daily basis. Mars is under the favorable aspect of Jupiter because Jupiter will regulate its space. It is making a transit in your 5th house, and it is giving a very good knowledge to Mars. Your trines are very much active for good reasons and not so good reasons. Jupiter is good in the trine. Rahu is also making a transit in your Lagna, where it gives mixed results because since it's your co-Lagna lord, so it is good for you. But its aspect on Mars is not good. But somehow it is going to try and control Mars. It will help you eventually to make the right decision, which is in the best interest of yourself and your efforts. So from an external point of view, any efforts that you put over the course of next few weeks, you're likely to see results because circumstances would be favorable in case of you putting any efforts. And look up to Jupiter, continue to strengthen and remedy Venus to obtain maximum positive results of this transit. Pisces ascendant signs or the Pisces moon signs. At the physical level, you will see this from your ascendant sign. At the mental emotional level, you can also see this from your moon sign. So what is happening here is Mars, who's an important planet for you because it's your second lord and the ninth lord. So it plays a very important role in all the financial matters because these two houses are Lakshmi Sthan or Lakshmi Bhav. Mars has been making a Maran Karak transit in your 7th house, a very uncomfortable transit, and now it is going to be entering the 8th house. So 8th house, Mars being a natural malefic, it's not the most auspicious position or a good placement for Mars even in transit because it could bring some adversities or you could face some adversities. Since it's your 9th lord, 8th is 12th from it, so it also indicates loss of bhagya. Maybe the next few weeks is not the most ideal time for you to make any important financial decision, but particularly take care of your finances. Take care of your accumulation, your income. See, Mars is the second lord of your wealth, your family, your consumption, what you eat, what you consume, your diet, your speech, how well do you speak, and of course your attitude towards other people, your possessions. It's also the ninth lord of Bhagya, fortune, your dharma, long distance journey, your father or father figure, your guru, higher education, spiritual education is also seen from this house. So if it is making a transit in the 8th house, so firstly, if you want to learn anything about astrology, Jyotish, occult, any such subjects where there is a greater amount of research, you should pursue those studies. It is an absolutely beneficial time for this aspect. You should stay low-key. Transformation is inevitable. It could be a difficult transformation as well in case you lack ownership of the transformation. If you show any form of resistance from your transformation. Mars will be under the benefic aspect of your Lagna Lord Jupiter. So the remedy for you comes from Jupiter at least till 18th of October. Because Jupiter is making a transit in your 4th house, it will regulate its pace and thereafter it will also enter your 5th house. So channelize Jupiter. Either use an Ashtakshari mantra, Om Namo Narayanaya, or to strengthen Jupiter, use the Shiva mantra, that is Om Namo Bhagavate Sadashivaya. Mars is also under the not so good aspect of Rahu. Rahu is in your 12th house, making a 9th aspect on Mars, which could probably encourage you to taking shortcuts or probably could cause disruption in financial matters, also in your health and well-being, because it's a very weak house. It could bring suddenness. Some sudden health issues can come because your 4, 8, 12 trines have these planets. 2 of these planets are benefic for you, which is Jupiter and Mars. So you continue to do your spiritual sadhana, yoga, meditation will be helpful for you. Maybe not the most appropriate time to invest yourself in relationship or a new relationship because that could probably fall apart. Mars is aspecting your 11th house by the 4th special aspect, which means that your income, your material comforts is under good protection. 11th house also represents enemies. So you could be in a bit of a negative position as well because enemies might overpower you. Now Mars is also having a special aspect on your 3rd house, which means that your courage, your valor and your ability to deal with change will ensure that your income is protected. So you will still have resources towards your success. Any efforts that you put, you are likely to see results, but you will have to put more effort for this. Your 8 and 2 axis is pretty active, which of course is the axis of adversities, but at the same time, it is indicative of a positive transformation. The time you're able to overcome your inner weaknesses and channelize your strengths, focus on your strengths and continue to build on your strengths. The pace of life will also increase. There's already been a lot of slowness in your life. The dullness will also go away and you will look forward to positivity where fortune will also be supportive, or you rather focus more on your free will. Next few months you have to take care of your relationship because there could be some quarrel, there could be some argument, or there could be some unnecessary issue that could be detrimental towards your relationship. Keep your ego aside, try to remove any conflict, try to have a good understanding with your partner, and I wish you the very best. So friends, this was yet another unique and detailed video on Mars transit in the sign of Libra between 13th of September till 27th of October. I hope and believe Mars's transit brings plenty of energy for our work, and we remain invested in our relationship as well, and at the same time take care of our health and mental well-being. Stay tuned for more such videos on my channel. Thank you very much. God bless you all.